A lot of the time, these sorts of redstone contraptions require long strips of vertical redstone that are either just ugly or expensive or boring. I want something cool. And of course, if you want to build this elevator, the link will be below in the comments. But let's start off with something new and simple. So with the new walls in 1.16, if you get, say, a bunch of blocks on the side of them like this, the little middle pillar goes away and they smooth out. However, if you place one on top, the middle pillar comes back. So knowing this, if we stack these all the way up as high as we want and control the top one with a piston, we can easily control whether there's a middle pillar or not and send vertical redstone straight down instantly with no problem. Now, something you may not know about leaf blocks is that if you look on the right here, they have a distance value, which is the distance they are from a log. The max is 7, or if they're just not touching anything, it's 7. So you'll notice if I flick this lever and push a log onto these leaves, which chains down for as long as you want, you'll notice these distance values are now 1 and 2, and then these go all the way to 6. And you don't want it to be 7 at the bottom, otherwise it doesn't update the bottom observer. But yeah, you can go vertical, upwards, downwards, whatever you want. This is a pretty cool thing most people don't know about. The interesting thing about scaffolding is that if you update any of the blocks, it'll ripple throughout all the ones above it. So if we were to say convert the bottom one between a floating and standing version, it'll ripple all the way up to the top of the stack and update redstone. But with all the vertical elevators I've shown you so far, there's a little bit of lag before they get to the top. Once again, here's an example. So what if we had one that was practically instant? To make a bubble elevator, you stack a bunch of water source blocks on top of a piece of soul sand. However, if you remove one of the water source blocks, all the bubbles disappear, thus updating the redstone. You can place it back to immediately send all the bubbles up, or you can remove it to wait a second and take it down. Now, of course, if you're looking for something really cheap and really easy, you can just stack 12 sand or concrete powder on top of a piston, and make sure you don't hit it too quickly, otherwise it might break your sand or concrete powder. But if you replace the bottom block with a solid block and put a T flip-flop connecting to it, you can make it float and turn on and off like this. Nice. However, if you change your sand, or I guess concrete powder, into slime or honey blocks, you can still do the same thing. See, we have our normal one and our T flip-flop one right here, but you can also send it down instead of up. So now you can change direction and make your life a lot easier. Also, the sand and concrete powder version is held back by the 12 block piston push limit. There's not really a way to extend this, but with the slime and honey blocks, you can chain them as much as you want, as high as you want, just by changing the top block to a redstone block to activate the next one. So see, if I press this button, they all ripple up, and that's all there is to it. Now, if this one got you thinking, well, that's really cool, but that's very expensive due to the amount of slime and honey blocks. Well, why not just use 4? Make a flying machine. It's a little slow, but it gets the point across. It's a little noisy, but it looks cool. So, you know, trade-offs. A super simple one that I see a lot now is simply just making a ton of observers. You can see you can send it all the way up on the left side or all the way down on the right side. Just depends on which way they're facing. But yeah, that's super easy. Now here's actually a really cool wireless redstone designed by Razeworks. You can see we have these daylight sensors comparing their values here. However, this one has a block over it. So you can see if we move it away, it simply refreshes that as it gets access to the sunlight and turns on the lamp. While you're here, why not check out this video next?